Hello everyone, today we will be reading The End and the Death, Volume 3. Battle between the Emperor and Horus, at least its finale. You let it slip, like a fallen cloak. You let it slide out of you, like a withdrawing knife, its thorns raking meat and marrow as it drags away. You let it drain from you and pour out of you, like blood. There is so much of it, but everything eventually stops bleeding. The whispers will rise again. In horror they shriek at you. Stop it, you say. I answer to no one, but the whispers won't cease. They swirl around you, saying that things they have been saying all since the beginning, again and again. The dead leaves skittering in the breeze, or shushing underfoot, like the dry wings of beetles, like whirring moths, like fire spirits of the unending warped flame. What is it that they keep whispering? It is infuriating. You can almost make it out. The words, the name, no, one phrase, uttered, repeated, echoed, and amplified by psionic forces. One phrase made white light, uttered in the unison of millions of voices, 2 million, an entire species. The Emperor must live. No, that's not. Speak this with me as it is spoken to me. The Emperor must live. No! You lift up your hands. He must live. A trick, a last trick, a last damned trick! A lever to prise your armor open, a feint to make you drop your guard, a magician's encore to his sleight of hand. The final desperate scheme of an eternal and ruthless schemer. You make to cast your father's corpse aside because you understand it is merely part of the trick, but the body is already disintegrating into papery ash and luminous dust. It was just another aspect, another discarded aspect, another empty husk. He is not dead. You cry out in anger and despair. You try to snatch the power back into yourself, but it is pooled around you in great black, sticky, sleek, and sluggish, slow to respond, slow to obey, reluctant to re-inhabit the vessel of your body now that you have scorned it. Gather it frantically, for you must be ready to defend yourself. The worst of it, your human heart, still raw and exposed, feels relief. A kind of joy. Your father's not dead. Your father is not dead. You did not kill him. He lives. Loken faces you, his sword in his hand. But it is not Loken. It never was. Loken is still sprawled on the deck where you left him when you threw him, gazing in on horror. Or is it wonder? You will not die like this. You will not be tricked like this. The power begins to flood back into your veins. The darkness, the sweet agony, the reassuring rage, the strength. Loken steps towards you. The other Loken, the Loken who is not Loken. The sword in his hand, not the Rubio's old blade. The sword in his hand is a great war sword. The face is not Loken. It is his face. The aspect of Loken collapses into void mist as your father steps out to meet you in all his bloody majesty. His wounds are great. Blood is dried across his face and his ruined arm. But there is a light inside him. A light beyond his eyes. The pure white light of a species that, in its madness, believes in him beyond all reason and trusts in him beyond all logic. A species that imagines him to be their shield and protector, and has such a faith in him it is made real. He could not fight you alone. He could not beat you alone, but bluff by bluff and ruse by ruse, stratagem and sacrifice, he has held your attention until he no longer has to. To be absent in body is to be present in the Emperor. A whole species is present here. It is united in one form, not a man, not a father, but a king of all the ages. He looks like a god. It's not his power, it's where it comes from. We are one and the same, the whispers say. Mankind and the Emperor and mankind. Souls bound together. We are together as one, or we are nothing. You are no god! You shout. Then this will be a fair fight, the whispers answer. You howl in your defiance as he comes up to you. He is clearly weak and wounded, but you are weak too. You must keep him at bay for a moment longer, so you can recover your full strength. In that moment, you are just HORUS LUPERCAL. You swing Worldbreaker and deflect the path of his sword. Sparks fly like comets. Your talons rake through armor, flesh, and bone. The blood between you fogs the air. His mind burns through your nervous system, disrupting your motor controls and casting pain through your core. You block his mind, twist it sideways through the 13th dimension, and render irreparable seismic damage. You clamp his throat talon. You crush his windpipe and sever his carotid. You feel the power returning to you. It cannot come fast enough. You need all of it. You need it all. Reeling, he turns back to you. A beam of light rakes from one of his eyes, pure force, blue-white, the focused will of the human race, piercing your darkness as the beacon of the hollowed mountain pierces the void. The pain is more than a man can bear. It is not you. It's not the power that you have. It is what you do with it. And you let it go. You let it all go. You fall to your knees, on the fire within and without. His psychic beam continues to incinerate you. He made you look like a fool. He cannot actually kill you. He does not have the means, not even him, to kill the limitless thing you have become. The instrument of chaos incarnate. Because that's what you are, HORUS LUPERCAL. That's all you will ever be, War Master. It's all you will ever be, first found son. A slave to the darkness, a weapons in their hand, a puppet on their strings, beguiled by their promises and lies, an instrument with no mind of its own designed to shatter the shield of humanity and tip the human species into the never-ending lists of the warp. On your knees, caught in the torment of your father's flame, you look up at him. You now see at last, perhaps, he has what he has always seen, a simple truth, a secret that should have been kept, despite everything. Some truths are too dangerous to know, and too lethal to hear. End this now, if you can. If that is even possible. End it before it is too late. If you cannot do it, no one can. The burning stops, the psychic beam abates. You sway gasping. Your father is holding a knife, an old stone thing. What is it? It's so small in his hand, so ugly. That won't do. It won't be enough. He seems to hesitate, reluctant. Your father looks at you with the knife. I wait for you, and I forgive you. He drives it into your heart. Loken is on his feet. He sees the blade glint. A simple stone knife won't break through that plate. Something so small surely can't. The blade goes in. Hot thrust. The quick mercy stroke of a custodian's misericordia. Practical and unfussy. The two figures freeze together in a moment. The kneeling son and the standing father joined by a knife. And through that blade, the Emperor channels his full force of will. The sublime power, a psychic blast of profound magnitude courses down the ancient blade like a lightning conducting through a metal rod. The fireball flash of its strike is brighter than all creation. Then the light begins to die. A darkness falls quickly. It is not the glossy blackness of the court's infinite architecture. It is soft and mute, like the advent of a night or the dimming of vision and senses. HORUS smiles. It is no longer the smile, that terrible smile that greeted them when they entered the LUPERCAL court. The smile that shivered the world with mortal dread. Now it is the smile that Loken remembers from long ago. There is no blood. The Athmine is sharp. Sharp enough to cut space. Sharp enough to slice reality. It waited a long, long time for this, from the original killing that made it, and stained it with the shadow of all murder to this, the 8th death that it was promised. HORUS smiles. The smile vanishes, then so does the flesh, lips, revealing another smile, a rictus grin of teeth, a mask of bone. There is no redemption, for the time for that has long passed. There is only resignation. And in the end, it is just a man killing his son with a stone. The blade slides out and turns to dust. The body falls. And then the galaxy burns.